Hello, friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, first game of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last case of the game, last part of the game, where all the secrets are going to be coming out now, as we have found the box, and maybe we'll find some evidence to what was in it. And Gina has testified to what actually happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, and we're just trying to figure out a whole bunch of stuff here with regards to Mr. McGilded and what happened and why he thought that the disc was worth money and all of that stuff. There's a lot of mysteries that still need to be unraveled here. So let's jump right in, shall we? The box. So this is the article in question, is it? A small box deposited with a pawnbroker by Mr. McGill 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, let's open it and see what's inside. Probably nothing. Is it a music box? Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow, although in truth I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that this is a device for the playback of this disc record. So, here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilld's disc deposited at Windibank's at much the same time. Okay. Cool. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGild's disc. It was the disc of his victim on the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to McGilded? Yes. I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
Wait, my lord. Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are... well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in the case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. But no, the piece of evidence is police property now. You can't... Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it's the policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. No further delays, please. Play the disc. What on earth? It's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon, they always laugh. This really is priceless. Oh, a victory wiggle again. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officers sent to fetch it and drop it on their way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, Counsel? on? It's alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, but how can that be? It's an abomination, Council. Mere noise. Fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nibonese friend, answer me this. Oh? Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is... Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that, the smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here, I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo.
Objection!
Yes, please object to that. The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. To enlighten us, my Nibonese friend. Oh, well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. You've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet. Runo, I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made. It can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, Counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far. All the testimony we've heard. It's all pointing to one single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nibonese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together, so to speak. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds in this music box disc is... oh. I was like, wait a second, I know the answer, because I remember the case. But I didn't know where the evidence was. Now I do. Well... Wait, at least I did... That's the only thing it could be, right? Yeah.
Take that!
Today's paper, Council. The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pig Purse Plunder. A hardly supportive cause. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Further down. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Oh, me, sir? Whatever's the matter. You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh, yes, we're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it! Now correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Order, please, everyone, order. But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason, and what is capital punishment? The sorts of words I'd have to expect you to know. For a sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Matilda perished, and the all-important disc lay claimed to the pawnbrokery. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry into the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilden would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means testify. Oh, there you go. Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies. In response to the accusations brought on by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure. The witnesses are reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterberg. That being a most flagitious offense, for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. And so then, let's proceed.
Hold it!
You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We got things to say. I beg your pardon. What do you think you are? Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. But we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers. Bad timing, folks. Very bad timing. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sound produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGill in any way, was it not? I have no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the cafe tonight, like he taught us. Like what he told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Well, Mr. the Governor, what's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, you did so as a party of 3, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here. We did, Gov, we did. Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these 2 ruffians are referring to. You little rotten, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer? Stop it, what us? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence. I always like to look at it. Not like there's anything to look at. See how the four McGilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Windibanks? Couldn't be a more perfect fit. There's no question then. The disc was designed to be played in this music box. But despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet. Maybe not. Is this a different spot? This is the mechanism that turns the bumps on the disc into sound, isn't it? Yep, the movement. It's all thanks to the comb with its teeth that are plucked by the passing bumps. Usually the teeth on the comb are different lengths, so that each one produces a different tone. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length. Oh, what does that mean? It means no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music box will make the same sound. I've never seen a music box like this before. Yes, it's strange. Music box that can only play a single note. There has to be some significance to that, surely. Well, we've already discovered all that.
Hold it!
So, is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of the staff at the station where I work would never be interested in sensitive information. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Let me guess. Turn number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us is responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Her eyes are glowing again. So you had access to the equipment used for this confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? Transmissions are already made behind closed doors, and they can't be heard. I don't know why I used Gina's voice for that. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent deciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no! Stop! Must say something. Stop! Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with Ministry technicians and the Ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. He's probably like, darn it, woman! Be quiet. Creighton is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently President of Idle. Stop. Well, Idle would appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded.
Hold it!
It's not Morse code? Are you sure about that? They're not? To anyone with a brain, that could be blatantly apparent when listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch. He looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. A lesson here in court? Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct tones. Tones, you say? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you can construct letters. I see. For example, this A, this B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so similar. The rhythm is the same and everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. Aw, man. Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future? Oh, stop. Nothing to say but stop. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? Nurse? I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using a music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely. Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? Give it a try. Always give it a try. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you, Mr. Japanese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to Morse code, two tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? Okay. Let's, further investigate, shall we? Oh! What is it, Reno? I've just noticed something about this music box. It looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. Oh, you're right! Well, come on then, what are you waiting for? Let's open it. Alright then, here goes. Look at that, there's another movement on the underside. So does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side? Yes, I think so. And it looks like the two movements are linked together. Linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play at the same time.
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box. What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in the music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens. As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, the music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry? This poor excuse from the lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another matter. But I don't think I have a second disc. Nope, nothing that the second disc could be hidden in either. I can't at the moment. Indeed. May I remind the court that, as this witness has pointed out, it was not the omnibus with McGilda 2 months ago striking a deal over the discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. The link between Graydon and the victim of this omnibus case must be there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Rena. You will reiterate your testimony, if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination.
Hold it!
So 2 months ago on that omnibus, McGillis killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason, a single man with almost nothing to his name, seems to have been artist in corner some years ago. But people remember little about him. It doesn't make much sense, though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed. There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason, in order to take it to the meeting with McGilda to negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I'm far more class than that. I'm a brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the 2 of them together. If you have nothing more to add to that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Doesn't seem to.
Hold it!
Like Mr. Graydon told you to do. That's it, yeah. Who else, eh? Silly me thought he was just popping over for a natter after a million years, but the rotter had a dodgy job for us. Ash? Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old China.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. What? Who, me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when. Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean? Yeah, with Ash. I mean, you look at him now in his fancy whistle and flute and you wouldn't Adam and Eve it. But when he was younger, He was from the poor part of town, just like us. Is that so? But he was always the leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas, like what would never have gone through our heads. Lord blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Skulkin's milk run? That was a Gorgora. Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. Actually, could you... And neither does your fruit. Actually, could you say that name again? Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? We was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Once again, it went quickly through the thing, so I'm glad that was the first choice, because I didn't want to go through that all again. My lord? Yes, counsel. The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case. Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony without detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Say no more. Skulkin's never skulk.
Objection!
Oh, come on. The eyes again. Sorry. Maybe I should press it first. Always press it.
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. Bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals. How it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what? Okay, here we go. The name, please. So this business is just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, was it? Yep, that it. And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh, right. I thought Clever Clock said you have worked it out on that one. That's it. Enough of this. Yep, I did work it out. It just didn't let me keep it worked out. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel?
Objection!
I don't... Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying? Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because well... weren't the happiest homes that one came from. Yeah, this old man was struggling for money so much his wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see? But Ash will always be Milverton to us. Milverton. That used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details would have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointments. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Well, it would appear that Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable, for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well, yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. Okay, so now I go back to his... All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our next serious matter of national security. Although, all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage. It would explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiation Ginny overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in in Windbanks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with Mr. McGill did. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. I know, Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to making a headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers. Okay.
Hold it!
Whoops, I didn't mean to press the L button, I meant to press the R button. So sorry. Gotta wait for the dances. There we go. Sorry. Wrong button. This is what I want.
Objection!
It is the first time that we heard his last name was in the files that Susato gave us. I don't know whether I mentioned it at the time that she handed it to me, because I did think it. I don't know whether I mentioned it, but I was like, oh, hey, we know his last name now. Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why'd you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, cousin. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man we now understand to have been negotiating with Mr. McGilvert. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say Saint alive? Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier. Your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And if it really would take no time at all for the courts to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it to McGilded in collaboration with your father. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. By dint of this music box you encounter. Yes, stealing information, being sent in secret government communications, and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information. As presumably a safety measure against the information falling in the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker made his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Winterbanks 2 days ago. In an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So the same night, you enlisted the help of the Scolding Brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? We never knew nothing about that. On the night that Mr. Winterbank was killed. The intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item, and one item alone. The music box. That's rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed. So the question that naturally begs an answer is this. Why was only that one article disturbed? And the answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since, if it were to fall in the hands of police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir, there appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? I didn't notice that before. Was that there whenever he was refusing? Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? He's got you now, me old Gina. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslums thieves. That's a tongue twister for me for some reason. Fine, I admit it. I was in there at Windibank's that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me, but as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. You're admitting to a lot. Are you gonna... But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. Guess I'm not going to go down without a fight, not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... Well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulking Brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windibank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon in the arm. Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that a man shot himself. And that leads to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a 3rd gun. Which can only have been fired by the 3rd intruder. Goodness! Right, because this is the case that we're working on right now. That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank that night is you.
Hold it!
He's laughing again. You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built for myself in the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I were there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, look at the little half smile he's got going on. Smug. This makes me a key witness to this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. What? Are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at the poor defenseless boy and shot him. What? Order, order, order. Well, it would certainly finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Mr. Grinton. Yes. I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully. Guess he's nothing to lose then. And I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the courts precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Well, I'm sure it wouldn't. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When wind banged through Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the people in the doorway. The accused, in black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood spatter all over that wretched girl. How does he know that the coat is bloodstained? Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony. That smug smile. I hate it. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Order, order, order. It wasn't my intention to testify in this way, but neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Wait, is that what they're... Is he implying... The fact that Gregson just spoke up there makes me think that that was what they were negotiating? Like, oh hey, tell this story. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood spattered over the... Oh, you say the blood spattered over the accused coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat the pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? If a coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here. Not good. Not a good thing. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's the true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound. Ideas are no use to us here. And science as a law of theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used, with your lordship's permission. We could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. This is not good. This is not good. No, it's not good. This doesn't look good, Bruno. Why not? Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat. If they test it with their chemicals... Oh, help. You're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. I wasn't. Yeah. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Oh yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Overruled. Understandable. Lord Ventus, make it so at once. This is so bad. With pleasure, my lord. And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay, it's a race. Once they find the blood on the overcoat, Gina will be... Counsel? Yes, my lord. Your cross-examination. Of course, my lord. If this cross-examination doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a really compelling clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Okay. I have to... Okay. This is where the problem is, because
Hold it!
he shot him when he ran through. You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. The reason why was to kill him. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening about head height that lets you see what's in there from outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. Yep. And what about you, burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through the peephole as well? I don't know why I made that voice. Not likely, though. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov. These two buffoons were even aware of the people's existence. So the Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Winterbank take place. Inside the store, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. Defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at them. And then, what did you see next?
Hold it!
Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Winterbank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Explain away that. If she threw the gun out the peephole, why was she holding it? Oops, sorry, I didn't actually read that. I was commenting on it. And as we already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. But no, it wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. I don't know why I'm losing his voice again. I'm distracted by all the thoughts. Yes, the bullet from the Winterbank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely, a third gun. And the broker's gun was not the murder weapon. So clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
Objection!
Are you serious? But no other gun was found at the scene! Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry? You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. It was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. A chilling image, I must say.
Hold it!
All over her? Yes. Through the people, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, which would could be such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. It's sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Winterbank's blood, is it? No. That's right, it's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood, from which Mr. McGilden stabbed him 2 months ago. And when Mr. McGilden stabbed him 2 months ago. He's so annoying. If they'd only accept Hurley's chemical analysis, we could prove that. But they won't, so unfortunately, we can't use this evidence to support our case. Bother.
Hold it!
Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated. And then the girl dropped the gun and threw the people out onto the floor on my side of the door. Why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly. I left the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Fluter told us to tidy up. He thinks our bloomin' mum sometimes. I was paying enough. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You little decay, don't you? Why are you attacking him? Okay, so you know how I was saying that there's got to be a time when I'm not supposed to watch what they're doing when they react to things? I feel like he's trying to distract me. I don't know what's making me think that. I can always go back. I mean, I can go back if I talk to him too, but I'm not feeling it. They were conspiring. They were talking to each other during Gina's testimony. I don't like it. And he doesn't want the disc to become known because of the whole secrets of government and whatnot. So, no, I'm going to keep talking to him. But I admit to nothing of the sort. After all, you can't even show the court such a disc exists, can you? As expected, I won't admit to anything unless I can trust the evidence in his face. Or maybe he's trying to find the other disc by this guy. It's not as easy as you thought, is it? It's been a crime on this level. It won't stick. Not murder, not treason. Maybe not right now, but it won't be snickering like that forever. Okay, I was probably wrong. I should probably have talked to him. What's your feeling, Rena? As much as I hate to admit it, I don't see any obvious holes in the testimony at the moment. But you have to find a way to break this man. Quickly, too, because once they discover the blood on the overcoat Gina was wearing, it's all over. It's a bit strange he's so sure of himself about seeing the blood spatter over Gina's coat. It doesn't strike me as the sort of thing you'd claim if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen. We know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank, so what's going on? All I know is it's very unfair. Why should some German scientist's list be acceptable as evidence when mine and Hurley's wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too. Never mind that, I have to find a really stark inconsistency in this testimony somewhere. I have to find it before the prosecution discovers the bloodstain on Gina's coat. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
Hold it!
No reason not to trust the inspector. Except, Iris made a good point.
You little toe rag!
I love how he's the one with the thought bubble, though, but he's the one that's attacking him.
Excuse me!
A gentleman. Something wrong, Sunshine. That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Blimey, this D's a bit of an hooligan, aren't he? What was going on just now? You saw him, he grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said. Didn't you mention the third gun when you was down at the station? And why didn't you? 'Cause we didn't know nothing about it. That flaming people in the door. Sorry about that. I'm prone to losing my ride sometimes. Not her. Blimey. See the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, D giving me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Greggsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character. Yeah, see, it's... Okay, press everything, I guess.
Hold it!
Because I continued listening to him. Mr. Winterbank emerged from the storeroom. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Yeah, we're just irregular, mild-mannered burglars. That's all. We don't like violence. We have a gun. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went to Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making 2 against 1, so I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help the little bruv, but the old geezer took me over the glue and found her. So I popped my gun on the old fella, and soon made him scarper. Apparently he was sitting upon a four defenseless spawn broker together. Shame on him. Sorry, Guff.
Hold it!
You mean that's the moment you were shot? No, though I didn't immediately realize that it happened, of course. And things crashed to the floor from the counter as 3 men were brawling. It was at exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar on the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Winterberg intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, no, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. When I pulled my gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scarfed through the door out back. Through that door out back. At which point, what did you do? Yeah, let's leave that. My lord! Oh no. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. The results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. The blood on the accused overcoat. Again, how does he know it's covered in blood? How did he know? Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel. I have so many objections. No, my lord. Gulp. Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were a result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Goodness me! See, what did I tell you?
Objection!
No, the blood on that coat is not Mr. Windibank's. What on earth makes you say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Windybanks, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
But it cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nepalese friend? Sorry? 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for Mr. McGilded's innocence? I will just keep saying Mr. apparently. And yet now, if the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... I call it a bally disgrace. Treachery is what it is. How to determine whether the blood on the coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done. But we used Mr. Sholmes specifically. Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm communications officer? I yelled out Borowski, a starving boy, and he ran away crying. Lock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom, no weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir? As the witness said, the accused coat was spattered with blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Grayton could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. I don't understand. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. My lord! Been a long battle, this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman. As of this moment, Sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now. Sir!
Guilty.
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 Guilty!
Guilty.
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Has any attempt you might make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful? I don't believe it. After I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? How very distressing. To be held in such low esteem. Oh wait, I think I know who this is. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Officer? You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some regularity, Miss Naruhodo, and that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I know that voice. Am I going mad? Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Master of disguise, that one. What is the meaning of this? Look how he kicks his leg up. Order, order, order! What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in the hospital. In hospital. As well I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Hurley, it's really you! You're awake at last! Yes, good day, Paris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us time? What say you to this, Lord Fences? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly! Haven't spent so long already! We don't want to go waste any more precious time! As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Yeah! Very well then, counsel, your 5 minutes. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Mr. Sholmes, are you all right now? All right, I'm all wrong. Sorry. I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Hurley, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Ah, well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community, an oversight on my part. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear friend. What's that? Lavender for shiki wrapping? A leaving present from Miss Usato. From Miss Usato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. Miss Usato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand, and that you, Mr. Naruto, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. Oh, so that was the secret conversation that night? Leaving present from Susato-san. Whatever could it be? What is this? Oh! It's the machine I made! Ah! Cat Flap-O-Mat. What's Susie up to? Miss Usato uttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? Didn't she say something like that? Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes? That night, when you left Windibanks in pursuit of the thieves. Mr. Sato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. And that is your answer, Not at all cryptic, then. Mr. Sato-san used this cat flap mat that night. But why? Your 5 minutes is over. We're out of time already. I'm grateful for you affording us a brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder. Mr. Naruto. Yes? The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... time to think. Okay. So, I believe... this new information is quite important. Let's hang out here. Oh. Whew, the vicious teeth look like they could rip through almost anything. They're good, aren't they? They made a special alloy developed just for this job. The cutter rotates 10 times per second, so it can get through any kind of door in no time at all. And what are the two parts at the top there? Oh, those are for attaching hinges to the section of the door that gets cut out. Right, of course. Nothing can match the machine for power. It can make mincemeat of even the toughest doors. It sounds so charming and friendly when you say what it's for, but feels like the reality of the cat flap mat is that it's a grim weapon of door destruction. Why the high so adorable? There's nothing I wouldn't do for him, even developing deadly weapons. Man. This is intense. I wonder if the first time I played this, if I, got the wrong answer here. But I believe what I need to request is further cross-examination. I don't know whether I'm allowed to, because the jury is already set, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Maybe I can save first, just so that I don't have to go back. You know, all good to do. Alright, further cross-examination, please. Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now.
Objection!
I didn't say a new witness. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather, they continue with the one of an existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. Oh. He said he wanted to interrupt the cross-examination. Temporarily suspended. Ah, good job, Sholmes. Good job. So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon, the court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd. I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of cross-examination. However, I will not permit any unremitting retraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it. A single chance to present evidence. If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further. My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Oh dear. Mr. Sholmes! He'll be fine. Just take him back to hospital. It's fine. To stand so insultingly before the court in a state of such high fever. High fever? Oh gosh. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling. He is extraordinary in some way. Imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared? Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down, or Iris. And I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. I think I keep saying Susato. Susato-san. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial. Very well then. Under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination. This was the statement that the detective was being distracting about and out of character. So... Now, the evidence here, if you haven't already come to the conclusion based off of everything said, pause now if you want to try to figure it out before I say it. The problem is the people. But this is not the only time that the peephole is mentioned. It's also mentioned when he says that he saw everything through the peephole. Now, this is the one that determines the gun, though. And this is the one that the detective... Maybe that's why the detective did that, so that we would know. Right? Like, it's gotta be.
Objection!
Okay, good. What on earth is that eccentric contraption, console? Oh, it's my cat flap-o-mat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you can think of, and make a new little door in the middle of it. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please, without their owners having to open the main door. I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. Aha! But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door. Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand. Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way, then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door than you can imagine in practically no time at all. I beg your pardon, a peephole, you say? 2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windibank had taken place. That's right, according to the paperwork at the yard. It's you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it has recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time. Your assistant did what? There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? I wonder if you guys noticed it, because we did see evidence of it before. By the way, that the peephole. Yes, how could you? What? Counsel, kindly state what you mean. Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such a time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through. What? No! And yes, we did see evidence of this. I wonder... I remember seeing the evidence, but it's because I already knew about it, so I was looking for it. But I wonder if you guys spotted it. This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was... Yes, it was created only after the incident took place by my judicial assistant using this device. Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. It's a most serious act of vandalism, for which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Explain yourself, Constable. The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door. Yes, that filthy girl's shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Order. Is there any credence to this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly. This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that a plaything could cut through solid wooden door? Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors. That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second. I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy! Cooey! Time for dinner! Iris, were you vandalizing the courtroom? Well. Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey. I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the people in the storeroom door to Windibank was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was. No, but it's easy. What? The cat flap my cat flap-o-mat creates are all fixed size. And the dimensions of people at Windibanks are the exact match. Old Silky's lost for words. Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned student friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let's assume that the peephole has dimensions that are perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the peephole built? The prosecution demands proof for your answer. What's the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Francis? It's very simple. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device, but now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to that fact. There is no proof. And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. What? Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel, don't give up now, Runo. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through. I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. Very well. Counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door to Windobank storeroom was created after the event, and not before. So, I told you we saw proof of it before. I believe it's this one? Yes. Observe. Let me use a magnifying glass. Nothing there. Oh, look. A door. Also, did you notice that the door had Iris's little flower on it? I was gonna say that too.
Take that!
What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras again. My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof. And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel. This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it also shows the accursed mercilessly wielding a gun. The accused, sorry. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless Brooke. But more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background. Let me see that print again. I don't believe it! This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole and of any description. Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. Order, order, order! I am satisfied the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious. Fallacious? That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with the crime scene. But more importantly, good lord, there's more, Lord Van Zieks. The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But there's no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. No, please. I don't believe this. But they're right as it stands now. I don't have any definitive proof that he was the culprit. Still, he can't worm his way out of it now. Iris, you know what they say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right, Bruno? As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait. That might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris is right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about. Namely, the bloodstains on the coat. I've been talking about this the whole time. Wait. Also the peephole. Hold on. How does he know about the peephole? Anyway, the bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right, the victim's blood spattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you possibly have known that? Obviously because I saw her do it through the peephole in the... The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously has the cat got your tongue, witness? The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred. And once I returned to the shop, having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawn articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock shifts as we got through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door. How on earth is that possible? Can I have a word, please, Lord Menzies? Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. Oh, don't you be weaseling your way out of here, Gregson. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you, permission denied. It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that people. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering the particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be. Who is the person in question, Counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony? Oh, detective.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today. Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our long recess, while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station. And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court. Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned? Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson. This is blue and outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigation to this fellow, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Have you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery. Which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view of the stand. Such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred. Oh, I've just remembered something, Bruno. What is it, Iris? There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Ginny was testifying. Oh, yes, now that you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilded's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it! It was during that testimony. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then. You toe rag, you're making this all up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details for the likes of this book? Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind? Then it starts to make more sense. What deal, Counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people in the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector. I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance. Well, I...
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is Snippany's student's specialty. I don't do that. But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence to support this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of its alleged deal. I have an idea. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logistically there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it. You know, do you think it could be... Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. I must press you for an answer now, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness? Okay. It's the music box, it's the disc, it's the second disc. But I don't seem to have any. Thought there'd be a second movement on the underside of the box, and this movement is like the other one, the cones either on the same length. This movement only produces a single tone like the other one. It must do. Except that the length of the tone from the two combs isn't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone before here. Basically, each movement can only produce a single tone. Notice they produce are different. The music box can only play two tones. Okay, but it's not updated. So it's either... I either have to present this, or I have to present this. Because it's another disc. I think he has the second disc, is what I'm saying here. So, the nature of the alleged deal, I'm sure either one will work, honestly. But, let's go with this. Just because it's what the nature of the actual thing.
Take that!
Inspector Gregson, beside this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What are you getting at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. How the bleeding Nora could you... We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play two discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in Mr. McGilded's possession, I keep saying Mr., are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case. You little... Order. On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this. Scotland Yard already knew at that time. Isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were, cover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry. And do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush. And that explains why, when you presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness. To aid this man in giving false testimony? There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known the existence of the people. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men.
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this so-called assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is as we speak, here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this room? How could you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As the season goes, the inspector will have it approached this legend with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted the gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand. Good gracious, then You mean to say Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
Yes!
The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once. Definitely! They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before, and Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately. Well, Inspector? This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, if it'll put the matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search. What? He's going to agree to it? Oh, I know what happened. I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you're now teeter, my lord and student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded. That sounds serious. Indeed, to have a visiting student make such a defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook. You're just threatening Runa because you're scared. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means that the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. He's too calm about it. Well, counsel, you know the implications. So let me ask you one final time. Yes, my lord. Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects? Yes, the defense formally demands a search to be conducted. Well, don't say you want a warrant. But you typical remedy stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good. Fair enough. I got nothing to hide. Very well. Bailiff, conduct a search of the inspector's personal effects. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. What? Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? Thought you wanted to search me. No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else. What's the meaning in all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational. Who's speaking there? Is it Iris? Be quiet, all of you. It is Iris. Bruno's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage in his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way. Who else? That young lady. Indeed, this court is in all of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits its next words. You what? Now don't be hasty, my lord. If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today, I'm fairly sure that I know who has that disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be. Counsel, of whom do you request the search now?
Take that!
Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin. Why, I never. Yeah! Me? Him? Very well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal
Hold
effects.
it!
Please, my lord. Inspector. Scotland Yard has to object to the search.
Objection!
Now you're nervous. Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. In this court, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority liberty to object. But Lord Van Zieks, I've no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial. Ah! Bailiff, carry out the search. How? Hold on a mo. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out! Ah! Here, my lord. In the witness's pocket. I found this. Good lord, that's another music box disc. I don't know nothing about it. Nothing. Those poor burglars. Being pawns. That's the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson? Order! 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 Mr. Skulkin, what have you to say for yourself? Gordon Bennett, I mean just... Gordon Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc. Honest to God. Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck was between this witness and his detective, no? And this detective. Without question, my lord. And then, for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information? Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment. I don't recall what unusual behavior. Yeah. It was... yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently. Yeah, he didn't know. Thought me noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born to me brother, I was. And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that? I ain't got a clue. He just suddenly turned and grabbed me, whistled like that. Started shaking me. Blazes, didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station? That's what he said. Got it right down my ear hole, he did. My head's still throbbing now. The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been that he did it. And that was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc. Well, bless my wig, he hid it. You. But I'm afraid I fail to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? It's the court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence. He doesn't want it to be evidence. It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that. Why ever not? As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions. Hush, hush. Hush, hush. A top secret assignment, is it? As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if information were to be revealed in the court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under direct orders from the Ministry. I'm afraid I'm not able to answer that question. So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, I took steps to hide the disc you acquired from the witness. Ha! Does this mean... He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him. Just slipped a second disc into his pocket. So it was all a pretense. Well, now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon. Are you prepared to admit to the accusation made against you of this alleged deal? Admit to it, yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon. Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the inspector.
Objection!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole? I'm under no obligation to explain. What? Yes, I lied in my testimony, that I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Didn't the Reaper, whose name escapes me, Van Zeeks, didn't Van Zeeks say that if he finds falsehood in his testimony, he was incriminating himself? Whatever happened to that? Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All of this young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of that is about. What? Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as Scotland Yard Inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done has been in the name of justice. So, as members of the public in a fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you make your decisions. It's quite contrary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leavings. Well now, as a fellow servant of the Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector. Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Even crossing your eyes doesn't know when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me. Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective freely. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idols. Stop. The detective has very much trust in eyes. More than this, I cannot say. I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're going to believe Gregson. If they declare their decision now... Is Ginny going to be found guilty? If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with a witness. Well then, counsel. I think it's time I impose on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no. And that is unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court. Not presented? I mean, the only thing I haven't presented is Iris' story, but I don't think it's going to help. Can we play the disc? Can we threaten him by playing the disc? If I let the judge call in the jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty. So there's no choice then, Bruno. You have to throw some more evidence at them. This is it now. It all comes down to this. Who do I present evidence against? Gregson or Graydon? Okay, I have to prove that he either killed or was trading government secrets. Or I have to prove, or I have to, what was it? Proof that Graydon's killed Mr. Windibank, which we don't have, because if we had that, we would have been good from the start. Or stole those government secrets. I don't have proof that he stole the government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness. I think playing the discs. Like, play the disc. Inspector Gregson, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see. What's that then? If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly. Go on. This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here. One final piece of evidence to get this detective to admit to the deal he clearly struck with Graydon. Okay, yeah, no, I think I'm on the right track here.
Take that!
Is that Mr. McGilden's peculiar music box, Counsel? Yes, with a disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time with the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well. Goodness, this disc, Counsel?
Hold it!
No, wait, I can't let you do that. Why not? Because, because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector. The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of two distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message, and now we have a chance to confirm that theory. For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. If you go lend the whole courtroom your confidential information like that, it's treason. Then do you admit to the charge? That in order to protect those state secrets, you engaged in unlawful dealings with the witness? You're mad. If you let that secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot!
Objection!
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul, you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine. Don't you dare. I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. Something to say, Manzeeks? My lord, if you please. The court must hear the sounds made by that music box. Come on, Van Zeeks, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law, so let me propose a toast. To uncovering the truth, by fair means or foul. He's with me. No! Very well, the defense's stance here, and that of the prosecution has been made very clear. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen to this music box set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place and both discs playing simultaneously. How do you know which how to put it in? That is in the right order. Because it's a disc, so it could be turned around in any angle. How do you know what the right angle is to make them match together? Oh, listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code. All right, I admit it. Whatever you want, but for love of God, shut the bloomin' box up! Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you or did you not strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon? Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? And did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker storeroom door, Inspector? I did. Stop! What are you doing, man? It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When trial resumed after the recess and we were stood here in the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal. Shut up, you imbecile. Shut up! Psst, you there. You're the detective who turned up at this prom brewery the other day, aren't you? We have something you're looking for, Inspector. With me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept. More information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed. I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal, and I told him details about the case that should put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door and the bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, the witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the peephole had only been made at night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windabank. You. Ooh. Traitor! Uh-oh. Bailiff, you might have to take care of that. Bailiff! Thank you. Restrain that man. At once. Is that an entire chip that just fell from his mouth? That's it then. It's all over. I despised my life growing up. The slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth, born to poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. The little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying to better myself, one day escape from that hole. I eventually became a communications officer. Determination. Then he decided to try to sell government secrets. Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me up in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out, with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded. You're a fiend with a queer talent, you so you are. And money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now. I was to steal the Ministry's telegraphic message logs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for the inspections of the Ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task. Of the devil's offerings, how easy it is to succumb. But you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing. And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable. By using the music box. My father was a brickmaker, yet my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier. Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh? He was a different man than the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him. Never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made. Music box discs, eh? A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me. Or two, actually. I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this. I'll fetch my tools, would you? And they're in the loft. That's how I had him make the two discs. And by splitting the information in two, we were taking considerable precautions indeed. It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGilded in two separate transactions. The first involved the first of two discs and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Then, on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago was the second part of the deal, the exchange of the second disc. Yes. I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already. It seems he became reluctant to part with his money. But that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. For why was it that the omnibus 2 months ago, your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded and not yourself? When I received 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious, and when he did, he said to me, "Next time there's an exchange, you'll let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore." That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded. That's it. I had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of monster McGilded really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name. To exact revenge. Revenge? As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man would no doubt be able to imagine, McGilded brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. Crush any semblance of justice in this trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. The trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. Feet had barely touched British soil back then. Reluctant Hornets was completely unaware of the sinister background to it all. I made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago, when exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in the city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that. Are you saying that... I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything in his favor for the courtroom to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. The tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly. Gilded's death that day was caused by this man? Was it him? So the policeman who came to tell McGilded he could examine the omnibus again. That's right. An impostor, hired by me. Oh, it was hired by him. McGilded used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened the witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, my sham policeman ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey. To Hades. To Doom. To the Infernal! Yeah, no, it was covered in fire. I mean, it basically was. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death. A spine-chilling account indeed. But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see. A loose end. Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded. Yes. There was indeed no mention of the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime. When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. It's the first of the 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them. Well, that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man. What's this? Windibank's pawnbrokery? Aye, this is a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem the article I've deposited there for you. There's no need to give a name. Just hand over the ticket and feed in a watchword. I'll put a jewel in pawn for you. I'll fetch a good 10 guineas, if so will. I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before. Have you not, Mr. Grade? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault. So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. On that night that he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I remember now. That's when we first met you at Windibank that afternoon 2 days ago. You had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How do you know who you were looking for? From the trial. That pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of McGilded's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. He was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windibanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilded's overcoat and the one disc that was in his pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing. Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion. Meanwhile, As our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that McGilded was involved. Inspector, you've recovered fast. My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on in the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could. Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still there in the shop somewhere. So I knew that was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So, that's what prompted you to break into the place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery? I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I located the music box they sold Mr. McGilded on the shelves of the forfeited articles. And the second disc was inside. Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then something entirely unexpected happened. What are you doing in my shop? A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee, and intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back, and he fled through the storeroom door for refuge. A sorry, sorry tale. It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo ever realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. It's everything that happened at Winterbanks on that wretched night. Earlier, you called McGilded a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded. Yes, I think I have. When it's somber like that, and not like the defeat animation, whatever thing, it's like it's more powerful. Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial. Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for 2.5 hours, just this last part. Yeesh. However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley? He's become restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Winterbank and stealing government secrets. Very good. And you, Inspector. Regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself. Yes, my lord. Of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping the criminal escape justice. That fact remains whether or not you're doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable. Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Yeah? We just time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Yes, sir. Garradev Squadron standing by, sir. That's really it now. last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
The doctor's still using his head. Ha! That's the stuff. I'm off the hook. Finally, Runo, you finally managed to do it. Finally is the word. I really wasn't sure if we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world. Miss Lestrade, I'm not finished with you yet. What are you looking at me like that for? Before we start enjoying our freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider. And 2 months ago, in my courtroom, no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Windibanks pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilded's property, it seems. I never done nothing of the sort. Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing Mr. McGilded's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. Aw, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Jenny this evening. And turning our attention to the defense. Determining that when put together the music box discs contained a message in Morse code was, well, it was certainly the most unexpected revelation, also. Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast to demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so... If I may say something on that point. Gregson? Wait, who... Isn't that... Oh. It's, about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What are you saying, madam? Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see? So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact. Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession one feels. But I must say that, in my opinion, the sounds produced by these 2 discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of 2 different tones. What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know McGilded conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really gotten to bother me. Miss Lestrade. Yeah, my lord? Not what you have seen today here in court. It's been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity. An appalling experience to fall any child. Come on, ain't nothing I don't see much days in the back slums. I beg your pardon. If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes. Gina. But look, I reckon I worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want to change, you gotta start it over. You gotta change how you are yourself. It's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I really look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade, never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Windibank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant Miss Gina Lestrade Yay! Confetti, fireworks, applause. Wait, that's an actual weapon. Hold on a second. Why do you have that? That is all. Court is adjourned. Oh. Mr. Van Zieks. On a personal note, I must say you surprised me, my Far Eastern friend. Oh. Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense of the malice that festered within that Englishman, and at the same time saw through the grime into the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom. You did? When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand. You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly? Well, you may ask. And one day when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not. Alright, then I'll wait for that day if I must. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey in my retirement from service 5 years ago. Gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow. Until we meet again. It's done. It's over at last. I liked it. I like this case. I think it was fun, and I like the cross-eyed thing. Love the, what's the word I'm looking for? The characters that the recurring characters. That's the word I was looking for. Recurring characters. Gina, it's great. Love all of the twists and turns of the trial. I liked it. But where's Iris' spirit to? Ah! Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Nara Odo. You believed in me. Right up to the end. You're as odd as your name. Oh, Narrow Otto is what you call it. Narrow Otto. What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever has before, see? Kept a promise, I mean, properly. That's awful. I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I never trusted no one. But that's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone, and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have to thank you. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. It's the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma. Am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. Wait. Has he been standing there the whole time? Was it always him? I want to go back. Go back. Rewind. I'm definitely going to. After I finish recording this, I am going to go back and see if like, you could see his blonde hair and everything. But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? That voice. It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Haha, yes, it was me all along, I would have said when finally you noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling. Mr. Sholmes! Haha, yes, it was me all along. You see? Mr. Sholmes. I had assumed you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh. I happen to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was standing to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. How very above board. But enough of my adventures. That was fine victory, Mr. Naruto. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I think. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you. Thank you. Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe. Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade? Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been fighting for our lives. Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well, I have a feeling. Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade. What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted? Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in the trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyway. Is that it? The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGill did, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational myself. Yeah, well, don't bother me. Oh, really? Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs? You mean, like God? Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There are some coves like that bog trotter, what are rotten to the core. And at the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve. suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, I ain't like the McGilds in this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see? A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade. Oi, just give it a rest, alright? As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal is very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations. Gina. Well, there you are, Hurley. How long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there. Ha, Iris, my dear. I do apologize. But, wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves. What happened? As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. And these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it? I'm not sure, really. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day. I'll be careful. Ouch. Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? I don't look like I'm gonna be anywhere for a while. You heard the judge's pattern. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering? Taking the bog trotter stuff, what? This lug, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense. But diving ain't an offense. It's a job, isn't it? I don't think so. Still, it has me good thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto? Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket. Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny. And I'm sure you can do it. What is it? Nothing. Miss Gina Lestrade. The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Right. Well, looks like I'm off then. Yes, goodbye, Gina. And good luck. Otto? Yes? Yeah, just, wait for that to happen. Ah! What was that for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so... Is that your way of saying thanks? Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. Eh? On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you. Oh. Oh, yes. It's good advice, Ginny. Right. I see. Well... Oh. Thanks, Otto. Thank you for everything what you've done. For believing in me. Aw, she's so cute. Look at that face. Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Well, there she goes. Wonder if I'll ever see her again. Well, well, quite the indomitable pick purse. Oh, I nearly forgot. I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial all over the front pages. Pickpocket's innocence proof. Isn't it wonderful? You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me. But anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? Not again. Well, what do you say, Runo? Early? As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not. I've no intention of listening to anything but good news. And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there. About how he's in denial of the bad news? Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was record level rainfall, apparently. Well, it is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. Alright then, it's the bad news. The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more. Wait, Dover? That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off. But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes. I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. I don't. The great detective does it again. Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles. What? Have you just been blackmailing everybody? I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid me on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. What are we waiting for then? To London, Victoria. The epilogue of a story. It goes on a bit, and also we have the credits later, so, you know. That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now. Mr. Sato, where are you? Over there, look! Looks like she's reading something. Also, why isn't she on her boat?
Hold it!
Mr. Sato, wait! What are you doing? Mr. Naruhodo? What are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She was acquitted. That's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you were about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell. You were saying goodbye to law? You, Sato-san? Would I be correct in assuming? It's because of the people, Mr. Sato. I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun! I stole Runo's armband. Yes, please don't do it again, Iris. That band's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages. On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flap-o-mat, so I put it up my sleeve. Really? And then I rather forgot about it, until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop that night or that night. I see. And then... After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storeroom door, you mean? Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So you used the cat flap-o-mat to make the peephole in the door. As captured in the photographic print of the shop. By one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. Indeed, it was the first importance at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing. When I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier, the trial of Magnus McGilded. I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then, a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windibank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing. You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime. That's right. But then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. What do you mean? Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of the locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door. Ah. For which, a peephole would be the very thing. Only the peephole I'd made wasn't actually here until after the crime had been committed, of course. There, I don't know why I said here. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference. But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? A trap? Is that why she did it? So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police. I know, and I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong, a criminal offense even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan. She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, I'm not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Ah. It's been like 3 hours, guys, my gosh. You could have been disbarred if you had seen to have knowledge. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with the crime scene. So, Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake, and Miss Lestrade's. Mr. Sato. The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost little of my faith in the law. Oh. I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that, is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied on the witness stand, using the peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure she would have been acquitted in the end. Miss Usato, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured. Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in the trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure. But the revelation that the music box disc contained secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. Oh, it wasn't? There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, telegraph operator. She said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood, should they have been intercepted. In cipher? Oh, I see. So then we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-peg problem, I assure you. A. So. Gi. What? Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Oh, wait. Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you? Mean something? Asogi was the name of my best friend. What? But how do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing in the music box. She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius. I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh. It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages. I don't believe it. Are you saying... That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. But I think it's based on the Iroha program. Or pangram, isn't it? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says asogi? Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Mr. Sato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications. And might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version. Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Of course. But what can this possibly mean? Whatever is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes, it's made the color drain from Susato-san's face. There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code. So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications? I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. 4 names. The first is Kei Asogi. Kazuma Asogi. Why was his name on that disc? The second is A. Shin. Shin. I don't recognize that name. The third is T. Gurigusen. Gregson? Seems advised Gregson is the third man on the list. And what's his name doing in secret government communication as well? And the last name. What's the matter, Miss Usato? It's just so strange. So unexpected. Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. The last name is J. Wilson. What? Wilson? John H. Wilson. You mean Daddy? It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. And then, after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris. I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. It would appear that this particular message is communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo came from. Oh, well... No, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon. Yes, it seems so. I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie? We wish you safe passage, Miss Usato. Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Miss Usato, I had hoped to have you always at my side, to guide me and support me. Mr. Naruhodo, please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Yeah, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Do you remember the first time we met? Yes, of course. On the SS Burya, when I was dragged out from that wardrobe, still half asleep. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with a Usato takedown. You know very well what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy. Miss Usato. And my instincts were right. I really want to believe, no, I'm sure, that I'll be back soon. Farewell until then.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Or the first volume, at least. Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Huh, the cat is with them.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will. But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
I wonder what they were shouting. Oh, hey!
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruto. Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train. Huh? It caused such a commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait in stations. But really, it would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. Huh? Huh? I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear friend. According to Mr. Sato, you love defending yourself in court. Ha ha ha! It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? Mr. Sholmes. Yes. A word, if you don't mind. Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow. Oh yes, I love Runa's words, and I know just the one he'll use here. And then I really must say.
Objection!
Every game. Yes, question. Credits are cool. Have the whole animation with them. So yeah. Cliffhanger. In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned, consulting detective work pays a pittance by comparison. Hey look, there's his machine. It's back. But yeah, that was the cliffhanger I was talking about, all the names. Not knowing anything about them. I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hurley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement. Some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfasts. But other than the cliffhanger, I do like that case. And, you know, we have access to the second game, so good. Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions. Exactly. Rarely do rare coins hide under rare stakes themselves. Well, Ida knows his father's an innocent man, or are you calling my son a liar? Witnesses, my courtroom is no place for your petty arguments. Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I lay low in the steamship for a while. But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I've done nothing wrong! All I did was give Wagahai's offspring refuge in my pocket. A man brings some kittens on board and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair! So he did have pets on board. Poor Saseki. Scientific investigation will be the gold standard for policing in the new age. I dream of a world governed by tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment. I didn't notice his hair goes out like that, like a little unicorn horn. It's an extra piece. The latest Rance magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur. Her ladyship puts me to shame. What, are you off the hook, man? There's a lot going on in that last case. I've been visiting the old girl databases, of course. Jody, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bally stairs every day has done wonders for me. The dicky peg? What does that mean? Managing rather well in the household, too. Got the maid business taped up, I'd say. Hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man in the house is his own maid. My Rolly is back on the beat again. All thanks to the Reaper. There's nothing I enjoy more these days than hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm better Bobby now. We've been out for Londoners that dropped pennies, and my lovely wife. Did he always have just one eye open and one eye closed? Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Whenever he did that? I don't think I ever noticed that before. Like one eye half closed and one eye open. I love them. They're my favorite. That is still my favorite case. Even though the last case was fun. I did like that with the pictures and stuff. And Gina. Huh. Looks like I'm gonna be doing time for a bit now. But Iris comes every day for a natter. So it ain't too boring. She always going on about all them cases what Shums is looking into. Criminal investigations are kinda interesting when you get into them. Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please. Give over, bruv. That ain't the Ash we used to know. We got time here and plan to come back with Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, right? The three Muscovosits. Milking the neighborhood for all the worth. They all dance together. Ah, he's back with him. That's sweet, I guess. Kind of. This past 6 months have been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruto-san, I promise, your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories. And a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well. Such a cute picture. Yes, I have already played this game before, and I probably already took that picture, but I still like it. Well, friends, that's the first of the two games of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Great Ace Attorney Adventures. At the end. And now we go through this credit scene, too. which is just going to be them walking. I'll let you guys listen at your leisure and watch at your leisure. I love how they pass by all of the characters that we've come across. Yeah. First game, new sort of game. It's a little different. Like I said, it's more reality than the game of the past. Just mostly based off of the like the mediums and all that. But this is more scientific and final. Like I said, losing Kazuma is worse somehow than losing Mia was, and that's really it, because the finality of it, and also that you got to know them a little bit better and saw how he was and knew him more. Like, I feel like if you saw Mia's old cases first, that you would feel a little bit worse, because like when she defends Phoenix in his college years, I don't know if that would make a difference. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that they walked along like a timeline like that. Like, okay, now I'm all alone. But yeah, and then we have the case that I hate, and it's just because of how everything goes down with McGilded, and that he's just a terrible person, really. And he did end up being guilty. And that's really the only reason I hate that case, is just because of the implications of it. And then the next case is my favorite, because I like Suseki and the pair, the Bobby and his wife. And then the last case is fun too. So really, I have nothing really bad to say. Like, the only reason I don't like the McGilded case is because of, what it is, rather than like how it plays out. Like, I have no problem with that. And the witness, or the way the witnesses go with going across the way and seeing how people react, and then the jury is the new gimmick. And I like the jury. I think that's really cool. The summation examination. I totally forgot how it went, by the way. Whenever they taught me how to do it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I have no recollection of doing that ever. But yeah, and then of course, good old Sholmes, and his interestingness. Yeah, he's really rather strange, isn't he? The way that he, yeah. He seems to have some other part of him, though, like there's something more to him than meets the eye with his, idiocy. Like, clearly he's smart. Clearly he knows things and is observant. He just doesn't lay it out very well, I guess. We did learn a lot, since his picture is up there, about our rival here, and why he has such against us. Those three. Yeah, betrayed by a Japanese that he saw as a friend, or something that he, rose a toast to, or whatever he said. So that's an interesting, she's loading her gun. Yeah, that's his reasoning, at least. We're to learn more about that soon enough, I'm sure. So yeah, a few loose ends that still need tied up, which is why I hated whenever I watched this through the first time and it was over and there was no translation of the second game at the time, and I was like, oh my goodness, what? Like, that's it? Like, there's a lot... What's going on? What's with all the names in the telegram? And, oh yeah, of course, the other gimmick, the Dance of Deduction. Also super fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have been enjoying it. This is a long one, I'm sorry. Just because of the, end of the case and then the epilogue and then the credits. It's been 3.5 hours already. But it's done. So we're moving on to the next game next. And no need for the suspense and the cliffhanger for you guys. You will see what's going on in the next few weeks as we continue the adventures. Or, I guess I should say, as we continue into the Great Ace Attorney Resolve. That's what the second one is called. And I will talk to you guys then.